Hello, loves. Hello. I am with some amazing, beautiful guests. This is Ariani.
Hi, I'm Ariani.
She looks so beautiful and gorgeous in like her outfit today. And then Bernard.
Swastiastu.
Yes. See how blessed I am. And we're in the most beautiful space. We're kind of crammed in under, as the rain season is happening right now. And as you guys are jumping on, just please let us know like where you're at in the world. If you can hear us okay. We're kind of playing with this. This is actually a very important conversation, right?
Yes.
And these two are like, I don't know, I don't do this stuff, I don't get on camera, and so I honor and applaud them that they're joining me on this conversation, because this is something that's been coming up for a while, and this is also something that I feel like finally gets to be talked about as to how our I'll put it this way. I think so many people are running around trying to look for the meaning of life, right? Like, what's the meaning of life? And really what I think is going on is people are truly seeking an experience of life, seeking an experience that is the meaning of life. And so this conversation, it really struck me when Bernard said something to me one day. And now Bernard actually owns this property, which is like a huge, beautiful resort out in Tabanon, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. He also has some companies in Spain and does it. I'll give you like a short snap, because I know we'll get more into his story and what he's really about. But he literally, all the money he makes, he literally puts into supporting the Balinese people and village nearby, as well as many other projects. He built this whole space that all the profit goes towards a foundation for all these projects, which I'll share with you guys more about that and how how we can all support and assist. But what came up as we were cleaning the beach one day. You had all the village people, a lot of village people came, and we were cleaning the beach, and as the water came up, there's like, tons of garbage that's coming up on the beach, and you pay people every day to get to go down and clean up the beach, and then they have these projects. And so we're cleaning up the beach, and as you and I got to talk after, you said some very profound things. And you said something that struck me really intensely, that I felt like, man, this conversation gets to happen. And this is really where this started. Is you said that the Europeans and the Americans always say that we are a third world country. Yeah.
And my belief is that America and Europe is a third world country.
Yes.
Because you only live to work, earn more money, and if I look to people in New York, in London, Paris, Madrid, Stockholm, Amsterdam, they are going miserable over the streets, going to their work, and only for earning more and more, get a bigger car, get a bigger television. And if you walk here through the village, the people have nothing, completely nothing. They live from their rice and from their vegetables in the garden, and totally dedicated to their religion. And you only see smiles. So what is a third world country, I'm asking sometimes.
I love that, because he said, here, literally, if people have nothing, and they walk around and they're so happy and they're smiling, and yet you go to a first world country, what's labeled as a first world country, right? We've already got people being like, yeah, that makes sense. Eric, thank you for joining us. And so it's like, we go first world country, everyone is running around, I have to get more, buy more, produce more, be more, and they're miserable, and they're stressed, and they're sick, and they're diseased, and they're on this cycle. And what I loved, actually, Putu. So Putu is one of the individuals.
Our local guide.
And so the day he took me to the waterfalls, he says to me, and he would bring flowers every day, and he said, I mean, sometimes the most profound things. He said, yes, I just choose a smile in my mind, a smile on my face, and a smile in my heart. And then he took me to his home to grab some. His mother had made the ceremonial. What is it? The
offerings.
Offerings. Yes, offerings. And obviously, like, it's so beautiful. His mother made the offerings, and I have this picture of her in it's like a half open house part where it's literally like a mat. And very few things, and she's taking everything she has to make these beautiful sacred offerings. And it's like, my experiences in third world countries, people would do anything to share, and they'll give even the clothes they have off their back, and they'll I remember being in Colombia, and people like taking their only chicken they had to try to make a meal. And so it's like, this is my experience of third world countries. People are so happy and enlivened, and they have such little amount.
Yeah, I was very amazed when the volcano in Bali.
Yeah.
Maybe I could
get teary because
Yeah,
you do so much of that.
we went there to the people who had to go down from the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, had nothing, as I told before. They're
From
living from
Mount Agung.
yeah, Mount Agung. They lived from their land, so they had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there. The idea didn't come from us. It came from somebody from the village to take food and bring it there.
Yeah.
And so, of course, our foundation put also food straight away to bring it there. And when we come there, I went personally there with Ariane also, and it was amazing. No food had come yet from the government or from other countries, but it came trucks and trucks from Bali, from the own people who are poor, and they came to bring to their own people to give them what little they have. They brought it to them.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful experience you get here.
Well, and even so, I gotta say, just even the experience of how you feel about the experience of it. See, it's like there's so much meaning. You feel such depth in your heart, your soul. You feel so fulfilled, and yet, what we really want to talk about is how, when in the illusion we've been, given with consumerism, people aren't experiencing the meaning of life. There's disconnect, and there's not even knowing their neighbor, and how it's changing the world all around us. So the other day we you had a foundation meeting as we got to talk about the different projects that you have going on and how we can support. And I found it interesting that there was a gentleman here that was from Romania, and he said how he shared his story of how like he could remember Romanian television before he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then at around 5 years old, all of a sudden everything started becoming Americanized. Like all television was from America. Everything started, the consumerism was like, you should buy this product, you should have this thing, you should, and how he completely, they had to learn English to be able to even understand television, but how it become so much that he didn't even know anything about his own country, but he knew more about America.
Other countries.
More about, and how it put so much value on products that he was saying as he got older. He traded a friend that was going to the States, he traded that he'd work an entire summer for him or something so that he'd just buy him a pair of Adidas. So it was like, it's like that was the value of having a thing. And so we've started to put our value on things, and it was actually Victor LeBeau was the one, because I don't want to quote anything or speak to something that I don't know 100%, yet I remember as I started studying where consumerism came from a long time ago, it actually came from the same mind programming tools that happened in Germany for World War II. The same mind programming that said, you should hate certain amounts of people is the same mind programming that created consumerism that said, and actually I wrote it down here because I thought this was interesting, the actual, what they consider consumerism to be was we want to make consumption our way of life, convert the buying and use of goods into rituals that we seek our spiritual and ego satisfaction in consumption. We need things consumed, burned up, replaced, and discarded at an ever accelerating rate. That is the actual the first report that ever said this is what the idea of where we go for our country to build economy. It was all about consumption. It's all about burn things, use things. How fast can we do this? And so it completely changed our society.
I'm coming to Bali now over 33 years, and before in Bali, well, the people, they used the bamboo, the big bamboo, with water. So when they had the processions going out, they had to water in the bamboo, and the food in the banana leaves. And of course, the Balinese religion is that everything will go, the Hindu religion, sorry, is that everything go back to earth. And then the West came with plastic and with all that other things the Western influence come with. And of course, the Balinese still think it's going back to earth. They have no idea that plastic is not getting destroyed. Now it starts, the younger generation is starting.
Teaching them, you're making that a focus.
We are doing a lot on this issue as well. But it's it's terrible. It's I can tell a funny story. We was one day cleaning the beach with even the police, and the whole village came and all the children came. And so they have cleaned all the beach, beautiful. And then on the end of the cleaning, they get a little small water glass, with a straw. And of course they drink it and pam, everywhere on the ground.
Because it's what they learned, right?
So we had to tell them you cannot do that. So It's difficult, but it's again the West. I blame the West on it to come with all these things. I mean, Bali before it was totally different.
Yeah.
It was living from the land, only living, no phones, no nothing, living for the religion and being together. And sadly, you see that this is going,
Well, it's
turning.
destroying our entire world. It's
Yeah.
spreading. Like we
Yeah.
just like we said, the gentleman that said his example in Romania, it's happening here. And I saw it even 2 years ago being here and then coming back and being in Ubud, and it's like, and there's less and less space in Bali that's not now just like modernized and,
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
consumerism. That's why I came out here, because I love
More
being
buildings
off-grid and sacred
everywhere.
space. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I can say for myself, coming from America and being that I didn't have an idea of how it was affecting the world until I got outside of my box. Until I started traveling the world as a global citizen, and I've lived now in several third world countries, and I have lots of projects in other countries as well, and saw it where it was like trash everywhere, and was like, oh my gosh. But then to see the ocean and see the water, the plastic bottles and the garbage and all the things, and as I can say, I didn't take any. I used to not even think about it. I used to not even. It wasn't even my awareness of how it affected me. And this is what I want to bring into people's attention, is that even if you're in some, you're in some safe little comfortable box, and you don't see the effects of this, how this is actually affecting us. It's like, I think we're up to like, it's 1 million plastic bottles are distributed into the ocean every minute. And 1 million bottles like made every minute.
Yeah.
It's somewhere around there. And I could share, I'll share more details on where people can find more. But when I started researching even Pachamama Alliance, which they made videos years ago to try to inform people about what was happening as we were growing in consumerism, I remember some stats back then that blew me away. And this was 10 years ago. I remember 10 years ago they said already from the amount of plastic and garbage in the ocean, 90% of large fish were gone. That was 10 years ago. That we needed over 2 Earths to support the amount of consumption we have. Now it's over 4 Earths. So it's like, I had these blinders on because we're just in, the society where we're constantly bombarded with over 3,000 ads a day, all saying you need this product, this thing to be happy. And then it's manipulation, because it connects. Oh, if you're hanging out with your best buddy eating a bag of this, oh, there's connection, and this is how you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
All of it is about it's a description of fulfillment, and it's manipulation, and we end up unfulfilled. Like you said, you see people, in Europe, in America, running around on I have to, and they're miserable. They have no smile on their face.
They're struggling. They are working so hard to earn money, and later they have to spend their money on doctors to get healthy again.
You said that. What was it? Was it Gandhi who?
Gandhi was that one of the phrases of Gandhi. I mean, and it's the truth. I mean, it's the horrible truth that people are
by spinning their wheels
Spinning
to earn
their-
money,
yeah.
and then they just become sick, and then they got to spend all their money on health, and they're just redoing it, and it's just.
But I think it's much our governments to blame. They want the people to be in that wheel
this is-
and not coming out of it, because you're producing money for them, so the big people can earn a lot of money.
Well, let's look at this was a stat from a long time ago too. I remember, just because I barely did a live. I did a live this week on plant-based medicines and psychedelics and the journey of healing. And when a guy that's a proponent for it had said that our average was like 6.5 hours a day of television for people. That was, I'm sure, a while ago. And I think, what? But that's because I got rid of television years and years and years ago, and I don't. See, again, we're living life as an experience versus sitting and hoping to get an experience from something that just keeps manipulating you.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you think about when people have that much that they are putting their time and effort and energy to just zone out and be fed. It's mind programming. I need this, etc. Then there is no. That's where it's spiraled, and now it's spread through all these different places. Because something that hit me when I was with Putu the other day, and he said, because I was asking about with planting the fields, and he said, really, you plant for 2 months and you harvest for 2 months. He said, so all the other time, because I'm thinking they're out there every day trudging around in the rice fields, right? And he's like, all the time in between is where we find our own happy. He's like, that's where we connect with our neighbors, and we do ceremony and religion, and we're learning to our culture, and we're learning to sing and to play instruments, and it's
and
like
we all do together.
and you're experiencing life, right?
Yeah.
And how he said, but now that's all changing.
Yeah.
And you do. I had someone the other day that has been coming to Bali for 20 years, and they said how it used to be everyone would talk to you and was looking up and to see you, and now everyone's on their phones, and it's like taxi drivers even like taxi, and I experienced that too in Ubud, and so it's like consumerism is changing all of us.
Still not here so much. I mean, it's
Because
in the tourist area.
Yeah, you guys are a bit off grid, and you're doing everything in your power to, you know. I mean, it is.
We
amazing.
try to keep it that it's not going towards this kind of life
Making
for
the
them.
tourists.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we don't want to have a too tourist
You
area.
lose your culture.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
lose their culture. I mean, in
Yeah.
the tourist areas, they almost have lost their culture
Yeah.
already. We are doing a school now. We're building a school, and there we want to do also separate from the teaching. We want to do the culture lessons, music lessons, and try to bring back the handicraft.
Yeah.
So we will try to get people from other parts of Bali who can teach the local people to do handicraft, because handicraft is almost disappearing. It's all Chinese products from plastic, and again.
Yeah.
And
it's building.
but the beauty, because the Balinese have one thing, they are unbelievably with their hands what they can produce. It's you see sometimes things here, you say, wow. how
Well,
is
I mean,
it
I could
possible?
point the camera at some of these amazing decorations for the, it's full moon ceremony today, and just
Yes.
even like all the ceremony. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that affected me the first time I came to Bali, and this is before I've done now a lot of journeys through India and spent a lot of time in India with Himalayan, with enlightened masters all over, and saw it at a whole other degree there as well. Yet it with Bali really affected me the first time I came, because the level of worship, the level of dedication to a higher calling. And and again, the people, the connection, everything. I was just like, this is such a different experience than the States and being in where I came from. And that's why I take full responsibility and want to create awareness for people that there was a time in my life I didn't even think about recycling, because I didn't even have any awareness as to how it was affecting me. And then to have gone and lived in these other countries and see trash everywhere. And like you said, people that are so used to, they've used everything from the land, and now they're being bombarded with products and consumerism and plastic, and that's the way that we all survive. Then it's like it's all just becoming worse and worse and worse. And so really, it's about when we can understand that at least we're being fed these lies, and to go, it's like almost taking off like foggy glasses, where we see this life of like consumerism is awesome. When you realize, when you take off the foggy glasses, the world's going down, like meaning like everything is becoming corrupt. We don't have enough to sustain us. It's just not sustainable. Consumer isn't sustainable, and you've seen it so much and become so passionate about it out here. But really, as this year I chose to let go of everything. I let go. We used to call it the magical manifestation mansion. I had this huge mansion of a house that we used for events and for the community and all these things, which were great. Yet I had to have cleaners and a house manager, and it's like all the things that now I look at my life now, where I kind of let that all go, and I chose. I say I'm travel sizing, because it's like when you are traveling the whole world, you stick to the basics of what you require, and for me, a big part of what I'm traveling with is literally my stuff for my altar, and like it's like my clothes are minimal, and the things I have are minimal, and really I'm like, how much simpler my life is without trying to keep up with taking care of all the stuff and building all the stuff. Because when I left, we basically just donated so many things. We kept a few things in storage, and now I think I don't even know what I have in storage. Like, why would I even need anything else? Like and it's because we get so used to this idea.
I mean, I had the same before. I mean, I had loads of clothes, and now I'm going only with the sarong every day.
Yeah.
I had a huge house, and now I'm in a very small house, and I'm more happy in the small house.
Yeah.
It's less to clean.
Yeah, exactly.
and I'm almost never in the house. That's for me. It's only sleeping. I'm always out and try to help the people. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
You don't need a big house. You don't need a big car. I have no car. I have a motorbike.
Yeah, well, I realized how some of the places I stay in the world, and this is also because I choose to I love getting in with the people and the culture, and experiencing, literally, like, I choose to have an experience of life. Like, life is my grandest adventure, and how many people I can serve, because we know, like, it's from India that I really learned that they say that when you are in service, you literally you get so fulfilled. It's like that becomes your dharma, this passion of giving, which you've experienced highly. Like it's like everything you're making from your companies, you're literally just putting into service and helping people.
And it seems to be that I'm so lucky that
Well,
my company is doing very good.
Yeah.
But everybody in Spain, they tell me I'm crazy because everything what I get, I give it away
Yeah.
again. I say,
And
well, I
yet-
cannot take it with me. And
But this is the thing about that is what I love is that, and I said to you when you told me that, I was like, well, generosity is the key to abundance. So when you're in the energy of give, of course, what continues to flow into your life, like money and all the things continue to flow in your life, and you continue to give and you serve.
I would say life's biggest privilege is to help those around you.
Yes.
It's,
And that's what I found. I had a major shift for myself after I went to India this year at the beginning of the year, and I realized that it was like all that really mattered was how many people could I serve, because that's what actually felt the most fulfilling. And my whole shift went from having $1 million clients and all the stuff that I was teaching around making money. It was like I really don't care anymore. It really is about, I know that if I'm in service, I'll always be taken care of. And as my life became more simple, and even the places that I went all over the world, there's places where it's like I get to wash my clothes in the sink and hang them to dry, and that's normal. That's like, that's very normal. It was like staying here in the resort is so much more posh than what I, even in some of the things that I've done. But it's like, I remember walking like a mile to like put my trash somewhere and having a little market where I got to choose out a few things and I'd like make it very simple. And I felt so much more gratitude than literally when I had a house manager and a nanny that did all the cooking and all the cleaning and all the laundry, and I never even touched food. I never even other than it's like, made everything for me. There was such a disconnect from it. And that was a perfect phase of my experience as well. Yet it's such a different, I find so much more joy and appreciation and gratitude in everything the more that I realize that's all that we really require. And so our intention really is to how do we turn, because obviously the world is bombarded by social media. I mean, we're on a social media platform right now. So we're not saying that, hey guys, what we want to bring awareness to is that when you realize you're continually being fed, you need a product, a thing outside of you to be fulfilled. It's a never-ending cycle.
I think, if I may say,
Please.
the social media or television and things like this, it's also a terrible thing that make racism.
Yeah.
And that people hate each other. I personally think it's our governments who want that we hate each other, because then they can keep on having soldiers and police forces. Because I see people here, we have people here, well, you're American.
Yep.
We have 2 Russian families. We have Russian families with Ukrainian families who are now at war. We have Chinese, we have Dutch, we have
the other night,
Romanian, Germans have
Dutch,
come yesterday, French,
Canada was here.
Canadian.
Yeah,
And we have different religions.
Different
as well.
religions, Muslims, Hindus, Catholics, Protestants, other religion, and all colors, black, white, yellow, well, not green yet, coming from space, but
That too, we welcome that too. I technically think I'm an
they can
alien.
come
I
as
mean,
well.
I am non-normal.
and they're all happy with together, and there is no fights, there is no discussions. It's only social media and television who makes people hate each other.
Separation. And we're dissolving separation. That's really the thing. And so it's like the whole intention here is not only to create awareness, so people can go, wow, look around at your world. Is it like you're constantly looking for the next thing? It's like the next car, the next bigger house, the next level of achievement and success. But look at your life and the fulfillment in your life. And I've been so prone to this message that's been coming from me lately has been like, peace is my absolute top priority. When I'm in peace and harmony, like everything else, I'm having the most blissed out life. And so it's like, if that doesn't match, if your life isn't peaceful, and it was actually another, I'm remembering the name of the guy who said this, he said, people who put peace as, down the road. It's like someday, when I get the bigger house, when I get the car, when I get my 10th pair of tennis shoes, right? When they're like always peace down the road, the only time peace actually happens for them is when they rest in peace. R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so true, because he even says, if you can't sit and if you're not at peace and you sit and enjoy a meal, can you actually enjoy the meal? Or are you worried about, how you gotta pay for this and how you gotta do this and how you need this? You can't actually even enjoy your life experience, even the meal or the people around you, because you're not in peace. And yet, what have we done in society? We put peace on the back burner, and we put more.
You should look behind yourself, but now, don't wait. and see what I have done in life, what kind of satisfaction, what kind of happiness I've had in life.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna get a little bit surprised, like, oh, I've not enjoyed life. So please don't wait until you're 60 or 65, because then it's very short left to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Think about it, to enjoy life as much as possible, because your life is short.
Yeah,
And the people are now thinking, oh, I'm doing this tomorrow, I will do it in the future. But
when this
suddenly
happens,
oh my God, all my life is gone, and I've not done it. And then you get really a puff in your face that you have been consuming all life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really great video I know that talks about how it's like we're like, from the time we're little, it's like in kindergarten we're fed like, okay, well when you get to this, when you go through this amount of school, and then it's like the next step of school, and then you get to college, oh, and then you gotta go get a graduate degree, and then so that you can get a job, and then so you can climb up the corporate ladder, then so someday you can actually get to this place and retire. And literally their whole life is like, I spent my whole life trying to get to the place, and you're here, and there's nothing there's nothing to enjoy. You've spent the whole time doing that. And so it's more that we create awareness around, instead of continuing to buy into the lie of consumerism, thinking that's going to make you fulfilled and happy. I love that you brought that to presence. Like, we get to enjoy our life now, but how do you enjoy life? Connection, love, creating, bringing the things that create a meaning of life, the experience of meaning. And so how can we put that towards creation and towards good? And that's really what, and so I mean, the thing I would love for anyone watching is to know that, how do you start even in your own backyard? Because like for me, until I was really aware of I didn't even recycle at a certain point, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I get to make sure I have a recycle bin, and just starting in your own backyard. And it was years ago, I had a friend who was doing projects. I mean, years ago I started getting into having all of my projects go to funding to something. And before I was at that place, financially, it was like, I remember, it's always the someday. Someday I'll go build a waterfall in Africa. Someday I'll go help build a school. And then I had someone who, in my own area, was doing, like, feeding the homeless. And they said something really powerfully. They said, we ignore what we can do in our own backyard. And it made me realize, like, wow, what can I do right here and right now in my own life and in my own backyard? And my boys and I started going and feeding the homeless and being a part of these projects, which, like I said, it filled me up so much. That became such a big part of my life. And so, yes, I would say for anyone, like, look at your own life and how much are you fulfilled? How much are you actually in destruction of the planet and disconnect and separation from others and trying to be fulfilled from products, instead of actually creating for the planet and connecting and doing service or fulfilling your life? And then there's also these many ways that we can support, because I heard a statistic, it was somewhere like, it's like there's enough wealth that everyone could be fed. Everyone could have enough to be fed, to be housed, to be all these things. And yet, because of the way that the systems of wealth have worked, it's like 1% of the population has 40% of the wealth happening, right? You're obviously an example of someone who takes that wealth and gives it back, and is a great example for people of doing that. Yet, because we don't take it on as our responsibility for humanity, there's this separation, like, oh, well, you're in another country, I don't even see what's going on. And myself, having the experience of being here, a lot of people that work here, they don't have running water.
No.
I've seen them out in the river bathing, and they're happy smiles, as I'm driving by the scooter, they're getting their bath in the river.
Yeah, you have some of the
we
old
all
people.
The Balinese used to having bath and washing clothes in the river.
Yeah. And you even said when you guys are in dry season how you didn't have water for an entire week.
We do, yes, have like connection from the government, but sometimes it's when it's dry season, so it could be like more than a week. Sometimes we don't have water. So, like for example, in my house, I would like to have a big tank to keep the water so that I can use for a couple of more days, maybe until I wait.
And still, the water what they get from the government is not potable water. It's you can't drink it. You have to cook it, and
it's with how do you call it?
The sulfur.
The
Added chemicals in it, so it sustains. So like this is why, I mean, and even the foundation that you created, you actually work and run the foundation for free. You don't get paid anything. You even here staying in the resort pay for all your own food and everything. Like you're not even
salary,
like,
and
everything goes towards the village. And so this is like a time of year, hopefully I mean, we know consumerism is happening all the time, but this is a time of year at least where more people are focused on giving and how do we support other people. It's like, I mean, my intention here is that people, instead of looking at consumers and what they're consuming, or maybe like you said, instead of buying one more pair of tennis shoes, or that next thing that you think is going to make you happy, how can we actually support our world and support other people? And you, with the foundation, I don't know if you want to grab the computer with the foundation. So you actually, I would love first your share on your experience of giving, like how you were always giving to other projects.
Yes, I've been giving all my life. It's in my, I don't know, came out. It was probably because my parents was quite not giving, sitting on it. And I know somebody who works for Brussels, for the European Community, and he is doing inspection for where to give money away. And he told me a story that like 5% arrives to the people who really need it.
Yeah,
95% disappear.
is eaten up along the way.
Yes.
It disappears.
Starting with the people in Brussels, driving big Mercedeses towards the airport with a chauffeur, flying first class, 5-star hotels, food, the best of the best. So there is going already a big part away. Then they sent maybe, well, to give an example, I'm going to give an example about America. I'm not going to say Indonesia. So let's say that we send money to America. So let's go to Washington. And then in Washington you have a lot of people who start to take from the money, and then this money go to Miami, and then the Miami people start to take. And then when it really comes to where it's needed,
Projects in Miami where the kids were
or
waiting
where
for the money.
the storm have been or something, very little money has arrived really to them. It's already in pockets of other people. So our foundation doesn't give money. We are completely on it. We buy things. We have, well, for example, a road and a bridge. With the bridge, we went to the Tabanan region and we asked to do the bridge. They said, "Yeah, give me $100,000 and we fix it." I said, "No." And then we spoken to the two bridges, and with $12,000, we bought all the material and made the two villages make the bridge. So not only it saves money, but they also feel it's theirs. And this is our total way we want to do it, that they feel themselves that they are involved. It's also my bridge. It's not only you gave. And the road the same. We came with the cement and with the concrete cars, and the villagers did the roads. And now we are building the school, and we already told to the villagers that they have to, each house have to donate us 2 bamboo sticks. So we're going to do the school.
One of the village already.
Already.
They already gave.
A little bit early.
Well,
They get already a truck full of bamboo.
They're so excited.
Yeah, we hope to finish it in March, the first phase. So yes, what we do is, sometimes what we do, because food I also don't want to give, sometimes we give to the real poor ones, but I prefer what I do. For example, we bought a fishing boat with motor, so they can go out fishing. What is better, to give them a fish or a fishing rod?
The fish versus giving them the fish.
Exactly.
And that's the difference I wanted to bring presence to, of like how not only, it's not just buying into the same game, which consumerism does, which is like, even because I mean I've donated and been a part of a lot of projects. We fund a lot of projects. We fund some schools and some all those things, and I experienced the same thing. Whereas like finding out that there was a lot of gaps in between, and so your take, you kind of basically chose to be here and have taken full responsibility of everything goes through you guys directly to the people, even to the fact that, like I said, everything even from the resort. So there's plenty of ways that people can become involved, guys, in supporting and helping.
Come and stay with us.
Yes, that's one of the ways. Like I found this. Of course, I only attract the very best. So I attract like the coolest people, the greatest space that was all about service, and the whole place is actually a foundation. But I got this beautiful, I'll share you guys some pictures and some other things later, but I have this beautiful, gorgeous private villa, because I'm always like, I get to have my own sacred space. I'm very much like aware of my energy in the space. So I have this beautiful, gorgeous private villa, but yet the benefits of being on this resort. So I've had like the gym to use, and you guys have a restaurant here, and it's like these beautiful lands out in the middle of the rice fields. And I finally felt like I was back in traditional Bali, instead of where I'd been jumping into some other places and it had become so modernized. So it's like you can, and I plan on actually coming back for a couple months with my boys this summer, right? Yeah, like, because everything also, you said all the profit goes towards the foundation. So if you decide, even if that's like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go to Bali. I've been telling all my amazing friends that come to Bali, come here, come stay here, because your money is going towards serving the village, and you can enjoy the beautiful benefits of I mean, I'd say more so than any other place in Bali, but you enjoy the beautiful benefits of your vacation, and the money is actually serving and supporting people, and that's a big honor to you, and that you created that system. Like I said, that you're not just like, oh, this is a place that I get profit. You're using that profit for something else, and that's just one of the ways that you could, that you use this space for supporting. On top of that, you have the foundation, which again you run, and you don't even get paid for, giving your time, your effort, your energy to do. It's like how important in the way of giving back. And from that, you have all these projects. So currently, right now, there's a school being built, which someone donated the land, and then you guys
from the local.
The donation of the land is one who's in the foundation.
Yeah.
There are 5 people in the foundation.
Yeah.
And now I can get tears again. And the first thing what he said, I will donate my rice field to do the school. It was so big emotion. That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yes, he have given the land, and we're gonna build at a school. What more we?
You have so many projects. The water filters. I was
water filters.
Like we're saying how people don't even have. You're saying how you have the tank of water that can be saved up, but people here don't even have running water. They don't have clean water. So you
They have
created
to
the
go
water
to the
filters.
river,
Yeah.
who's completely dirty and brown. You have
Yeah,
seen
I've
them.
seen it.
And they to bring the bucket up, and then cook it and then drink it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still quite not so nice water.
Yeah.
So yes, we're doing the water filters. That's a real project, and we have done.
One water filter. Can you share with me again? How much does one water filter cost for a family?
It's 450,000 rupias. I think it's
Rupias,
about
which is-
$30.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like $30 American. This is what also is so. I was saying this to my assistant this morning because I was telling her about obviously this and what we're looking at donating and doing, and I was like, it still is just so fascinating to me how much can be done with so little amount of money and what we're used to. Because in American dollars, like you were talking about another project that the houses, there's people whose houses are just engulfed in mold
We
and
have,
asthma problems.
Yes, we have now we are going to start after Galungan. So Galungan is the Bali, the Hindu the ancestors coming down from, and it's just the day after Christmas. So after the Galungan, the people themselves, the family, we told them, you have to break down the house, keep all materials what still can be used, and we will rebuild it, the total house. And and the kid, the baby has asthma, and the house, well, it's
I saw the
terrible.
pictures. I mean,
Yes.
these guys, that was so great is they've shared. Hi guys, we got more beautiful viewers. Appreciate you guys. And please share this, you guys, with with the whole purpose of seeing this message. But as being here every day on the thread of activities, you guys are sharing you've been assisting a blind man to learn a skill so that he could have a living, and the houses that are getting rebuilt, and the people that are getting water filters, and the school project, and I know you're trying to get a garbage truck, and you're actually paying the people to save the plastic bottles so that they earn money from gathering the plastic bottles.
Glass, plastic, shoes, clothes, everything, paper, everything, and then we pick it up. Our staff picks it up every month, and we're doing now 2 villages. Next month we're going to do 2
But
villages.
you're trying to create enough money for a bigger garbage truck.
Yes.
And so then you guys so it can go to a recycling center. And so it's like, guys, these are ways that at least from the consumerism that's happened, we can now start to make a change. And like cleaning our earth and doing that. On top of that, I know you're looking at I believe a truck for an ambulance.
Yes.
Because people here, anyone sick that gets to be taken to the hospital, it's like it's a bumpy ride like this in the back of a truck.
Yes,
That's
it's
one of the
there
projects.
on the flat back of the truck, and go then.
And you've
If
lost
they're
people
lucky, if
that
they're
have
not
died
lucky,
on the way.
they have to go with the motorbike.
Yeah.
I've seen people dying.
Yeah.
Because there was no.
Well,
we have
everyone's
just
on a scooter.
given some medical equipment to the clinics. We're still. It's quite expensive. We want to buy the.
The EKG machine.
Yeah,
The shock
EKG.
machine, the shock machine, defibrillator.
Yeah, a defibrillator. There it is.
Yeah, defibrillator. Yeah,
Yeah.
the EKG we already bought, the one that measure.
Yeah, tells where the
And
heart is.
but yeah, I've seen people already die who couldn't come to the hospital too late or whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, an ambulance is very. There is so many things, but I still want
You
to
have a
do.
lot of projects.
Yeah. And,
So what's the website where the foundation has all these projects? Because you guys have it set up. I mean, this again, guys, it goes directly to you and goes directly to the people. And you have ways of showing that, even like with the water filters, like putting people's names on it that they see. But again, what I was saying is that's amazing to me is how for $30 in American, and I don't know what that is in Australian, etc., but it's like $30
25
American.
euros.
Yeah.
That is going to give a family a water
Family
filter.
water.
So I'm just saying, guys, hey, it's Christmas, and instead of buying more shit, like, how about
One
instead
present
of,
less.
right? Yes, instead of consumerism, how about we create? And it's been amazing to me to be here during the Christmas season. I've forgotten that it was even Christmas in a way, like, because there isn't that bombardment of consumerism. Well, first off, I don't watch TV and I'm not really online at all, other than when I choose to deliver a message. Yeah, and so it's like but even in the States, you go into any store, anything, and it's like the subliminal Christmas music and the smells and the stuff everywhere, and it's like buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more. And this is, I mean, it's even bigger at this time of year. Yet it's all the time. And so if you guys aren't involved in a way of supporting something, this is a beautiful creation. This is a beautiful way that you can support, because it is, you might not see it not having been, in front of it, but it, taking my own personal experience of seeing how much our world is affected from the from the products and everything else, and then the people here being so happy and amazing, and yet they're going out without clean water.
Yeah.
And how much more of a difference we can make, that everyone, like I said, we distribute the wealth, that everyone has a greater way of life.
And what I have done is to make it more personalized for the people.
Yeah.
When people give a water filter, we will produce a sticker with their
Yeah,
name
their
and their
name.
country on it. So, and then we can send the photo to the people
Yeah.
with the people who receive the water
Yeah,
filter,
I
so they can
see
say
it.
and feel, wow, I have a water filter there
Yeah.
personally, that you feel it.
Yeah, and
It's like I give that.
A water filter.
And you
Because-
talking about, like what people have to do to even get water, like go down to the river, get the water, come back, boil it, and it's still not clean. For $30, you guys, you can give a family, and that lasts like
2 years the water filter will last, and then only the filter have to be changed.
in place, but that actual comes with the next year's replacement of it, I thought.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
See, so it's like you guys have already thought of these things. And these are just a couple of projects. So
So
first
you give
off,
4 years water to a family.
got it. 4 years of water to a family for $30.
That's how much is that per year? $7.50.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's why I say, guys, I was telling my sister, I'm like, so much, we can create so much good for such a small amount of money, that it's like, it's crazy what is actually
Let me get
possible
one.
available.
You want me to get
Yeah, please do. Well, and tell us, well, I'll let Ariana tell us.
Yes.
As
Oh,
you go
sorry.
by. Ariana, tell us what is the name of the site that people can go to?
So it's called sahajasawah.org.
Sahaja, so that's
Sawah.
S-A-H. I'll write it down later too, guys. S-A-H-A-J-A, Sahaja, Sawa, which is SAWAH.org. If you go there, they literally have on there their current fundraising campaigns that have everything from, I didn't even talk about they've been saving the sea turtles, the eggs on the beach. They have people that literally can get paid to go create those. They're looking to buy an ambulance. They've got some funds still going to the natural disasters that have happened. What else you got on here that they can go into? The school
the
project
school
we talked
project.
about. The water
I get the water
filters we talked about. And again, you could always be like, hey, you know what? Next vacation, I'm going to come stay in Bali, and I'm going to come stay here. Come stay here for some of your time, because from everything that they do, all of it goes to the proceeds of the village, the people locally, and we wanted that to outreach even more. And guys, I've been involved in a lot of fundraising projects, or there's a lot of projects my company personally funds consistently. From projects that we have money that consistently always goes. And I'll say it's shifted my life so much in that the feeling, or the messages that I get, and again, knowing that like there's from so little that we're used to, we can create so much of a greater good. So looks like Bernard has a big old water filter for us, and this is all it looks like. It's a bucket.
Yeah, it's
this
like
big.
2 buckets. Yeah.
2 buckets.
Yeah, 2 buckets.
And then they don't have to. They can take the water and they just pour it through, and
Yeah.
it filters it out
Yeah.
and cleans it. So Bernard's got a. Can you post it? I will. See, look at this. Terry's already saying, "I'll donate $30." Awesome, Terry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Took some more.
Yeah, guys, they're
it's,
gonna be so
yeah,
appreciative
it's
too.
2 buckets,
Uh-huh.
and then fill up the water here, and it's a filter here.
Yep.
If you can see inside.
Yep. Oops.
Um,
It's okay. We'll get wet.
oh, sorry.
alright.
And then this will drip towards
The water inside
here.
Okay.
And then you put it in the night, and it takes about 8 hours
Yeah.
that the water is filtered. And then the next day they have fresh
But
water.
the first time that you have to take out the water.
Yeah, because the water, the filter is getting
Yeah.
used to it.
Cleans it out. Yeah. But guys, see, still even in another country, being that they
just
go
so
through that
simple,
process,
yeah.
but that is still for them. They're so like the moment you're like yay, thank you. It's been such a gift for me to see. In the stuff that I've done around the world, how appreciative people are of the simplest thing. I'll scoot over here so you can get
Thank
back in
you.
here, Bernard. So is there anything else you guys would like to share? And guys, I will post the link. You can go to the site. They make it really easy that it literally you can just click on. Whoops.
I'm not on it.
Yeah, you come on in here. You can just click on it and be able to scoot on in here, babes. You can click on any one of these projects. So I know with my tribe, my Best Life tribe and stuff, I want to see like, hey guys, which project do we want to put most attention to? Or individually, you could do a water filter. You could go towards one of them that calls to you the most. But I hope that you guys take the opportunity during this time of year and all the time to see how you can look at your own life, how we can start to heal the planet, how we can do more to be creators to support each other and bring everyone up to a better quality of life versus just consuming more and destroying our world, and looking for the opportunity of these other individuals. Like, I mean, I'm so impressed with Bernard. I was just like, the more that he told me about all that he's doing, and it's like, like I said, earns his money and gives it away. It's like, yet you're so fulfilled in life. You're so, it's just such a beautiful expression and it's a beautiful example. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that help us. Maybe it's good also if people want to donate, to give the PayPal from Ariane, because what I found yesterday, I did also a campaign through all my friends, and I get like 41 filters through all my friends, and but the first reaction of 2 and they are not rich and they gave each one. There was like, Bernard, you have to do something because the bank charged them 18 euros to send 50 euros for the
They have to
Indonesian.
transfer to bank account.
Yeah, account.
That's
So
why.
it's very expensive.
So I might
I don't know
just
how
give
it's
her-
with
her
America.
contact information.
Yes, she have
that
her
they can
PayPal.
directly, if they want to just donate money to go towards any of the projects that you guys are trying to
Yeah.
fulfill, or they can go straight to the site and do that. And I just wanted to share this. This came through as you were sharing that. Is that I remember growing up, like I was raised on a farm, and we literally had to grow our own food to survive. Like we were extremely poor. And some of my favorite, my most special memory is that at Christmas time we would do this 12 days of Christmas. We were so poor, and yet we would take whatever we could find and even go to the dollar store and buy like some colored books and things, and we would pick a family that was even worse off than we were, and we would do this fun little thing where we would go knock on the door and leave a gift, like some sort of rhyme we'd create around like 12 of something, and it'd be 12, and the next day it'd be 11 or 10 or whatever. But we would and then we'd run off and we'd hide, and we'd see them like have like, oh my gosh. And I just remember being like, it was so cool to see how much it affected somebody. And like you said, people that aren't wealthy, that are just, it's like every single one of us can make a difference when we even put $1 towards something, and we put a few dollars towards something. So even if you're not in a position to buy an entire water filter, it might be you and a couple friends pitch in, or just do what you can, because that adds up and it makes such a big difference. And at least here we know where it's going, and it's being, so much of it is taking effect, versus like we said, when there's some disconnect in it, when it's like, hey, 95% of it went to all the people in between and it didn't go to the country. So this is something that I was like, oh, of course this is where I found to stay. And I didn't even know about most of what's going
For
on.
us, it's more like it doesn't matter how much amount
Yeah.
you get, but it's more the meaning. Doesn't matter how big.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it makes such a
Does
big
it
difference.
come pure from your heart?
Yeah.
Like you.
Yes.
Yeah, which
The
is so
Balinese,
beautiful.
the Balinese people are no beggars at all.
Yep.
You never will see them begging.
Yeah.
They even feel ashamed.
Yeah.
If I bring the water filters, they are, of course, they are grateful, but
Yeah.
still feel ashamed for it that they get something. So, and we
Well,
are
I've noticed that where it's like, sorry to bother you, sorry to bother. When they're trying to be so helpful, it's like, no bother. You guys are amazing. Like, so it's again, they're not. Hey, I'm not going to provide for myself. It's like they're actually trying to provide for themselves, but this is all that they know in their way of living, and we can do so much more to help out. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
We will be so much grateful if you
come and
guys
stay with
can
us.
Stay with us, or
Too many Americans stay in America. Come over.
Come to Bali.
Well, learn the world.
Yeah.
Go around.
Yeah. Well, and I was joking that I feel like or Puchu said this to me, when like after Eat, Pray, Love, it became this more well known. But then there's been so many parts of it that have been so built up with the consumerism. This really is like sacred Bali. Like you can be. This is why I've been just out in this beautiful place. Hey, friend. So just enjoying this. So this is a beautiful place for you to come. You guys not only have like all these cool adventures that you can go to close by. Like I was so like, oh, my boys and I are gonna have so much fun because there's all these awesome, beautiful places to see and these adventures, and yet you're still out here in like sacred Bali land. And it's like all the
That's the
people
real
around.
Bali. This here is the real Bali.
Yeah. Going
And if
down
you
the-
learn Putu, you will love him because he
Yeah, oh
will
my
bring
gosh.
you around. And
Putu.
always Mr. Smile, I call him.
Puchu is just so dear to my heart. He's
Yeah.
just such a sweet soul, and it's like just going down to the beach. It's like as I'm driving through the village, everyone is so happy and friendly and sweet, and yet they have so little. And so I
They
just
will even offer you food.
Yeah,
Sometimes
just
they can come in,
Yeah.
and they will offer you food.
Puchu's brought me flowers and treats so many times. He just, I got this, and like they just, and again, his mom creating those offerings, from all their own stuff, like so that there could be offerings at all the places we went to when he took me to see the waterfalls.
Yeah.
It's just like they're so giving, guys, and we can actually give back.
Yeah,
And
but
this
we
is-
also do is a good program. I've done just now too. I buy pigs for them, so they can create their own pigs,
Yeah.
and then
they can
That's right.
they can
So
survive.
they, yeah,
produce.
it's just like in India, they'll buy I have projects there where we'll buy a cow for a family because then
Yeah.
they actually have the milk to support them, and then they can get another cow, and it helps
Yeah.
them sustain. So
Yeah.
everything they're doing here, guys, is about sustaining more life. Is
Yeah.
about cleaning up from the damage we've already done. And so there's plenty. You've got lists of projects, I'm sure, and these are just the ones that we've been talking about. So I'll post the link on here. Love you guys to be able to support this beautiful space and this beautiful project, and I'll share more pictures of the space. You can see how beautiful it is, and just let's turn social media and consumerism on its head and use it for something good, and instead come together to create a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, love you guys. Power
Om
Choice is yours.
Santi Santi Santi.
There you
Om.
go. Choose your best life.
Okay, bye bye.